All right, Thursday, October 27th. This is kind of a mid-morning SPY update here. You can see at the moment it's a very neutral bar. I'll show you in a second, we took out the lows of the prior day, but didn't follow through immediately. We still haven't really gone above the halfway point of yesterday or above the pre-market highs. So it's kind of the environment that I expected, quite frankly, in terms of not really wanting to see strong follow through to the upside. And in this case, a little surprising, we didn't continue lower, at least on the first move of the day, but it still might develop. So if we look at the 15-minute chart, going back to, I posted a video very early on, once it failed here and started lower, I said you could go short right here on a breakdown of bar number one, anticipating the lows of the day to be taken out, or the pre-market lows to be taken out. It happened. I was then talking about, do you want to get followed through a failure right here? We're taking out the low of yesterday. That was kind of anticipated to head down to the low of on Tuesday on that first move, as long as we kind of continued. But in this case, we actually failed, and we moved up kind of to our entry point right here right away. So if you're really trading this tight and knowing that you're taking out some you're getting in before, you're not starting the day below the pre-market lows, you're kind of getting in before the pre-market lows. So you want, anytime you get in the middle of a range, either up or down, you want to kind of target that area and see if you continue or fail. So on the immediate failure, you could have broken even and maybe tried again if it went lower, or the midpoint of the first bar, you could have taken a very small loss from here to here if you wanted to do that. Now we're kind of watching price action at that point. Does it really want to move up above these pre-market highs and hold up there? So test that area, takes it out. You're kind of seeing it's a moment of truth. Is it going to hold and continue and then set up an up day, in which case you can buy the first pullback? But in this case, it immediately failed, and now we're right back in the middle of the range again. So I still see this day forming as kind of a day that after the shooter bar wants to continue lower, but it's not quite there yet. And I'd want it, we kind of on this big green bar to the upside, we kind of come back to the halfway point of that bar right now. We're kind of holding. So as long at this point, if we break down below here, I could see trying that short one more time again to take out those lows, and then maybe end up with this bar being the shooter bar, follow through to the downside that takes out Tuesday's low. But it's very tricky at this point to know what to do. Sometimes you just gotta sit out even until something becomes clear. Again, until we break above the highs of the day, I don't really see a clear upward path, but I'm not the downward path really hasn't shown its hand either at the moment. We had one attempt down there, so it's kind of it's doing what markets a lot of times do in uncertainty. They take out stops and trap breakout traders here. They trap traders on the upside. We kind of knew it was tricky, in terms of at least heading up today, so that's not surprising. The downward move still could take place after 4 days of upward action, but you still have a trend that's up and has a little bit of has some targets higher, as long as this weekly chart's still up. So again, it's not surprising even on a week, when the weekly chart's heading up on a two up week, with you can look for pullbacks to buy in certain ways. So it's not always surprising when you take out lows and then bounce up. In this case, it not real much follow through. So I'm just going to call it a tricky environment right now. Until we break above here, I don't really like the long side. And until we, unless we really kind of fail at the midway point of this green bar, then maybe I'd expect a little lower again before the day ends. So let's see what happens.